Hello and welcome to this first phase of Connect and Ignite and Shine. In talking about connection, it's so interesting because a lot of times we think connecting is about connecting with other people. We're trying to connect with other people, we're trying to see what would be the best way to connect with them. But the essence of connection is really first connecting with ourselves. It's so interesting. People talk about being present, being conscious, but what exactly does that mean? And how do you do that? Well, I'd like to share with you some of the awarenesses I've had over the years about the value of connecting and how to go about it and how to recognize when you're not connected and how to reconnect, right, with yourself when you acknowledge that, you know what, I'm not being me. I'm not present at the moment. You know, this connecting with yourself has such a global, universal, quantic energy to it that it allows you to approach your life, approach other people, approach your business, approach your relationships, making money, doing all kinds of things from a very different space. It gives you a level of self esteem, right? Self appreciation, where you don't go into judgment of you because you recognize that there's nobody in the world that does you better than you. And that might be different every time, the way it shows up. But when you are grounded, when you are connected with your core, when you recognize your energy, then you recognize and invite things that are contribution to your energy. You know, one of the ways that is so simple that they do in yoga, for example, is through breathing. But sometimes we go into the judgment of ourselves, even in something as simple as breathing, that maybe we're not breathing in the right way. If you're connected to you, then you're doing everything in the right way for you, right? And this you, this me, this us, what is that? What are we talking about? When we say connect to you, what are we talking about? Well, we actually are a combination of many different energies, right? We know we have a body, right? Do you have a body? Are you listening to this? Do you have a body? We have a body. It's a physical structure. We're actually able to see where it ends, right? Where the physical body ends, right? You might even just want to put your hands on your shoulders, on your arms, on your face. You know, I'm an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, and I do these amazing 3-day body classes. I've been doing them for years. And one of the exercises we use in that 3-day body class is to invite you to connect with you by putting your hands on your face. So I just invite you to do that at the moment. Put your hands on your face. Do you feel the hands on your face? Do you feel the face on your hands? Just take a moment. Take a breath in and a breath out. There's no right way to do that. If you are still alive, you're breathing just fine. But just breathe in some air and some space and breathe out. And feel your hands on your face. See if you can even feel like the cells or the muscles or the skin, the heat. Somehow just connecting to those small elements that make up your face. And then connecting with your hands. You know, you might be listening to this and not actually have hands. You can imagine your hands or hands on your face. You know, our hands have fingers, most of us, and the fingers even fold. See if you can feel those folds of your finger, those joints where they bend. You know, this is a very simple, easy exercise. Don't forget to breathe. That allows you to slowly connect to something that is just you, just yours. Your face is yours. You may look like someone else, similar to someone else, but there's no one, even if you're a twin, an identical twin. Your identical twin doesn't have your face, it's yours, and doesn't have your hands, they're yours. So take a breath in and say, hello, face. Hello, hands. And there is a little bit of movement as you do that, that begins. You may not perceive it immediately. You may not pick up on it immediately. But the more you're willing to identify the smallest things, like the shape of your hands, like the joints in your hands that bend, like the cheeks on your face, the cheekbones, you begin entering into a world that is yours, okay? And from the world that is ours, we're able to see the rest of the world. That's our unique brand of magic, actually, the way we see the world. A lot of times we go into criticism about that. You know, oh, I'm always getting frustrated. Oh, I'm judging myself. Oh, I'm judging others. But what if you went beyond that first perspective, that first acknowledgement of the way you are, and see what, beyond that judgment, beyond that criticism, beyond that thought, what else do you see? In Access, we talk about distractor implants, right? And these are these ways in which we distract ourselves from seeing what is actually there. They're really quite amazing. And it might be that we get angry, or it might be that we have fear of something, or it might be that we love someone and we don't see beyond that person. We don't see beyond the fear, what we're afraid of. We don't see beyond what we got angry about. However, that is just one of what I call the short stops, the initial reaction, a distractor, that we don't see the entireness of our being. So we have bodies, and I would invite you once a day, just for 3 minutes. And if 3 minutes is too long for you, 1 minute, just to connect with these bodies. One of the things that is great in the morning, as soon as you wake up, right, is just to maybe move your wrists and breathe. Move your ankles like this and breathe, right? Touch your face and say, good morning. You will be so surprised how 30 seconds, 1 minute, 3 minutes of starting your day by connecting with you changes completely the way you even walk to the bathroom to brush your teeth. There's a way of being centered, right? Some people call it centered, some people call it grounded, but it's a way of connecting with you so that what you see what you hear, what you perceive, what comes into your awareness during the day is from your unique brand of magic. That's what I call it in the 7 Steps book and trainings. Your unique brand of magic, what makes you different? And slowly beginning to recognize that allows you to see the world from a very different perspective and invite people to see you from a different perspective. And we'll talk about that a bit also in the Shine videos. But this connection with you is really quite loud in its silence. Okay? Another way that I do in the mornings, and I encourage you to do, is to do a little bit of stretching. Because when you do a little bit of stretching, or moving your shoulders, or twisting your back in the bed in the morning, right? You're actually acknowledging that your body's part of you. Sometimes we wake up in the morning and we have all these thoughts in our heads. What I have to do. I have to do a class. I have to do a video. I have to go to work. I have to feed the kids. I have to call my mom. I have to visit, the store. All the things that we have to do. And yes, the mind is a part of us too, right? I'm not saying don't listen to the mind or don't use the mind. I think the mind is a great tool, but it's not all of who we are. I mean, even if you just think about the space it occupies, right? And our brains are in our heads, right? And the mind is a maximum of 10% of the brain's capacity. And then we've got these whole bodies. So where is it that you are giving so much attention to that 10% of your brain, which is a very small percent of your body? Okay, so we use something called a clearing statement, which clears away anything that you have put in your path that doesn't allow you to move forward with ease. It's the accessclearingstatement.com. You can find that. And it basically is asking us, even if we don't have a cognitive awareness of why we're doing that, when we're doing that, how we're doing that, it's asking us to eliminate anything that holds that way of functioning in place. So I'd like to invite you to eliminate anything that holds in place your mind as more important than the rest of you. Your thoughts as more important than your connection with your entire body. Okay? Everything that doesn't allow you to recognize that your mind is good, but it's just a part of you. Please destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 short boys and beyonds. That's the access clearing statement. It doesn't have to make sense. It works. And it's quite energetic. And you know what? We're quite energetic too. Because yes, we have these bodies, and the bodies have a lot of energy in them. I mean, a lot of times we're not connected with our bodies, right? But can you imagine how many cells are in your body and how many molecules are in each cell and how much movement those molecules have and how much movement the cells have? And then we've got water and blood and all kinds of things moving all the time in our bodies. What is so much more interesting that's going on outside of you than what's going on inside of you? So everything that doesn't allow what's going on inside of you to be at least equally interesting as what's going on outside of you Please, can you change that? Can you change it? Can you change it? In Access Consciousness, we say, can you POC and POD it? And that's about going to the point of creation where we first created the idea that the life outside of us is more important than the life inside of us, in this particular example. And that's POC, point of creation. And the pod, POC and POD, is when the point of destruction, when the creation of that idea began destroying, in this particular case, our connection with us, with who we are, right? So asking to go to the point of creation when we first, even if we don't know, that's the beautiful thing about these access tools. You don't have to know when it was. You don't have to remember, I did that, I started doing that when my girlfriend called me a bad name. Or no, when my dad or my mom said I was wrong. Or when my teacher, you don't have to know when it was, because it's actually not cognitive. It is somewhere in our energy that we're giving more relevance and more significance and more importance to what's outside of us or what's only in our mind than we're giving to ourselves, right? So asking you to go to the point of creation, whenever that was, could be even in another lifetime. And a millisecond before you created that, when you still had the space of connection. That's what that POC and POD is. It's absolutely wonderful. So we have bodies, lots of things going on in our bodies, and we can talk about that some more. We have minds, which put things together reasonably or sometimes irrationally, but they do put things together in a sort of linear way, our minds. And then we have this energy, which is sort of our being. It is the space that's between the molecules and between the cells. And I get that you're getting that as I'm saying it, right? The moment you think of it, you're already there, right? There's no how to do it. And you have your unique way of doing it. There's no one that can show you exactly how to do it. What this video is about is inviting you to explore the many different ways that others do it, that I do it, and having you see which one works for you. And that may be different today than it is tomorrow, but at least you'll have some different possibilities to play with, and different ways of connecting to you. A lot of times we decide connecting to ourselves or being present with ourselves or being conscious is such a serious thing that we couldn't possibly play with it. Everywhere you've decided that, and therefore can't have fun in connecting, please destroy and uncreate all that. Destroy and uncreate it all. Whatever part of it is you're willing to let go of now, let it go. Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all nine short boys and beyonds. Yeah. So we have this being. We are this being, actually. We are beings, we are space, right? We are all of this energy and space, and we are consciousness. So interesting, that's what we are, right? And we have chosen a physical body. How cool, right? We've chosen to be present here on the planet. And we also have been developing these minds, right? So this connecting is connecting your mind, your body, and your being, right? And your spirit, right? And your spirit usually is something that connects you from one lifetime to another. And a lot of times we have some weight in the spirit. There was even a movie that talked about how much 23 grams, I think, that the spirit weighs, right? So that when we actually, as beings, allow the bodies to sleep, die, we don't die. We can't die. We are the energy, the space, the consciousness of the beings that are on this planet, and probably on many others as well. So that doesn't die, right? So the energy that we are, the space that we are, the consciousness that we are, if we're willing to connect that with the body that we have and the mind that we have, and find a harmonious way to exist here on planet Earth, then we can go from mere survival, working to pay the rent, for example, or waking up just so that we can go to sleep, or being born just so that we can get to the deathbed. We can find a way of actually playing and enjoying our lives here. And when we have that connection, we're working and playing together with who we are. And so connecting to you is not just one way to do it. It's whatever way is the easiest way and the simplest way, right, in this moment for you. So let's take a breath in again and a breath out. You do that all the time anyway. Don't worry. Whatever way you're doing it is fine. And put your hands on your face again. Is there any difference? For me, for example, I was really feeling my face before. And now I'm actually perceiving some space. I'm actually not just feeling the skin and the cheekbones and the jaw. I'm also aware of my hands from a different perspective on my face, but also my face on my hands and the space. So simple. And this is the funny thing about our minds, because our minds don't really have a job when something's so simple and easy like that, right? So please let your mind know when you're connecting with you. Don't worry, mind. I really like you. I'm just connecting with the body now, though, so you can take a rest. You don't have to think about it. I'm just connecting with the body and the being and the space and the energy that I am. When you're not judging your mind, oh yeah, and when you're not judging you, oh yeah, and when you're not judging your body, oh yeah, and when you are willing to connect, right, then there is a relaxation that starts occurring in your body. See if you can perceive it. It's very subtle initially. If you don't do this often, perhaps you're someone who's always connected. Awesome, right? Only you know that. Only you know when you're truly being you, when you're truly connected to you. And there is a level of peace inside of you. And when you are not, you can maybe even put your hand on your heart. And as you breathe in and out, see if you can feel your heart beating. A lot of times we're so not connected, right, that we don't even perceive our hearts beating. We can't even feel our hearts beating, right? I've been there. And even recently, things show up, things happen. We are late, the alarm doesn't go off. We jump out of bed, have to get dressed so fast, wash up, go get in the car or get in a taxi or get on a Zoom or whatever. And we're like somewhere else, right? The being is all over all the time, right? Because the being isn't confined within the body. The space of the being that we are is in our bodies, but also all over. But our bodies sometimes are not given the attention that they require. So if you're willing to make sure you're present, make sure you're connected, then your life shows up in a very different way. And I remember I was going to a conference, and there had been 3 or 4 days of this conference, and one night was a really late night. And I woke up late the next morning, had to run to the conference. I was completely out of my head, out of my body, out of my mind. I couldn't even feel my heartbeat. Now, thank goodness it was a long trip, because I said, okay, come on, connect, connect, connect. And that's another tool. You can just use that. Connect, connect, connect. So I put my hand on my pulse. Couldn't even feel that. And I put my hand here. You know, wherever you have beats in your body, you can start there. What is the doorway? The little crack in the window where you can connect to you, to your body. And when you connect to your body, then your being begins to turn on more of the movement and allow you to be more conscious of it. So after you find a beat somewhere in your body, right, then you can go to your heart, and it's a deeper connection. So it's sort of like phases, getting connected. And please, 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 please be willing to do whatever it takes, whatever steps it takes to get you to the point where you are actually on the border of the cliff of diving into the greatness of you and connecting with you. Right? So sometimes just counting to 10. And let's do that together. Hand on your heart. And if you can't feel your heart, try the pulse, right? Right here. And count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, I'll give you a couple of little mini steps, half steps. And then maybe you even want to put this on pause and try it. When you're counting to 10 like that, in between each number, see what increase in connection you can invite, right? Usually it takes us until we get to number 3 before we're even present with our counting. Like it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I did it. I counted to 10, so I must be connected. Or I counted to 10 and it didn't happen, right? Only you can do it. Only you can choose it, right? So with each number, see if you can perceive how many beats, for example, of your heart are in between each number, right? 1, 2, 3, right? Have fun with that. How many beats of your heart between each number? And then in the next number, between one and the other, You might want to see if you perceive any of your molecules or cells moving around. You might want to see if your neck has relaxed a little bit. And this is something that shows up often for me, is my breathing changes. And I know this is, for me, I know when I'm connected, when the energy has changed, when I breathe in a different way, right? So see if you count again, if you notice any changes going on. 1, 2, right? Sometimes things move up into your head. 3, right? Now I feel everything moving up into the back. 4, okay, I feel something like a shade coming down over my eyes, over my forehead actually. 5, it's like there's something blinking in my head. 6, there's some space in my jaw, moving back, some things moving. 7, my body almost moved back a little bit. 8, finally a nice deep breath comes up for me on 8 this time. 9, I'm actually aware of the air coming into my nose as I'm breathing. And 10, there's a widening of my vision. There's like an opening up here. That's me. That doesn't have to be you. But what is it about you? Very sneaky ways. 10 seconds. Can you imagine? 10 seconds per day. And anytime you have a situation show up where someone has got you mad, pissed you off, right? Made you feel badly, crushed, made you angry going into reaction, right? Take 10 seconds to reconnect with you. And once you do reconnect with you and connect with you, you perceive something very different. For me, I remember after years of being an adult and pulling up all those barriers and carrying myself in a certain way, right? Putting on different masks. I remember working with the body processes and access. I was actually organizing the class, help translating the class, facilitating the class. All of a sudden, I felt this movement in my solar plexus, like right here underneath, at the top of your rib cage. And I was like, oh, what is that? What is that? Am I having a heart attack? And then a peace came over me, just like a relaxation. And I was like, oh my goodness. I'm actually reconnected with my body. Because please know that when we're born, we're connected. Our being, yay, we're out here. Our souls, oh, we're back on the planet. Our bodies, our minds, right? We at some point choose to disconnect, to give that up, to imitate other people, to learn from our parents or the people around us. And we begin disconnecting from who we really are. So this is an invitation to reconnect with you in a very different way, in a deep and profound way, is the way we say it, right? But also in an expansive way, so that you're actually delighted and grateful for you. Grateful to be here, even if it's a difficult moment, a challenging moment. Grateful to be here, knowing that you have so many resources available when you're connected to you. And this is what, this series of connecting videos is about. It's about inviting you to one of the first processes, one of the first journeys. Isn't it interesting? We want to discover the world, or we want to have a great relationship, or we want to find a good job, or we want to make money, or we want to save the planet, or we want to end cruelty on the planet, or we want to just make sure we have a meal every day. I mean, there's many targets, many goals, right? But isn't it funny that all of that stuff that's outside of us, that we want to do, and we want to be, and we want to help, starts with us. So the invitation for you to connect to you in this first video is so that you can see the simplicity of it. And I hope it makes you laugh, because we think it's so complicated. Sometimes I don't know if you've read that 7 Steps to Flawless Communication book that I have. And I talk about how, I used to go to all kinds of yoga classes and mind, body, spirit festivals and channeling sessions, and, trying to meditate, and, all types of people and things, and books and crystals and all kinds of stuff, right? And trying so hard to meditate. And I didn't recognize how much I was already connected with me, and how much, when I was doing things to connect, right? Complicated which way to put the crystals, which crystals to put where, what pendulum to use, which way to face when I was asking for something. And I was willing, and I still am, to do whatever it takes to connect to me. So my question to you is, are you willing? Truth. Are you willing to connect with you so you can be the basis, the foundation, the essence of the adventure that we call life, and to live it in a very different way, with total ease, with joy, and have an exuberant expression of life and living. You can try also this amazing clearing statement that I shared with you. And there's a lovely mantra of access consciousness, which is all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. Repeating that 10 times in the morning, as soon as you wake up, as you're doing your movements. You can do 10 of these. All of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, right? And with your ankles, connecting with you and connecting with your being with that mantra, right? And giving your mind something to work with, which is a repetition. The mind's very good at repetition. And what if your mind was occupied with a repetition of something that creates more connection, like all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, or connect, 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 something simple, and more contribution to you instead of judgment. Oh my gosh, my body feels bad. Oh my gosh, I'm sleepy. Oh my gosh, What if you were giving your mind something that was a contribution to your mind as well? Park and pod, anytime a judgment comes up, all you have to do is say park and pod that. And give your mind some lovely, energetic words to repeat that give you more access to you. Once you've connected with you and begun that ease of connection, doesn't mean it's easy, because sometimes easy is a ritual habit, and we'll talk about that later. But it's ease. It relaxes you. Joy, which is who and what we are, and glory, which is an exuberant expression of life. So all of life comes to you with ease and joy and glory if you're willing to be connected to you. Yeah. So once you are connected with you, you recognize, right, when you're not connected. And just ask the question, am I connected with me? Truth, yes. Truth, no. And see if there's a difference in what you get when you ask yes and when you ask no. These conversations that you have with yourself, when they're about connecting, they're so much more fun. And let me tell you something, you will never, ever, ever be bored again in life when you're willing to connect with you in continuation. So just for today, are you willing? Put your hands on your face and connect with you. Hello, face. Hello, face. Hello, body. Hello, body. Thank you so much for being present with me. Thank you so much for being present with me, even when I'm not always present with you. Thank you, body. And thank you, body, for not judging me. Even if I sometimes judge you. Thank you, body. And thank you for being willing to talk to me. That shows up in many different ways. It could show up as what we call pain. It could show up in what we call sleepiness, tired. It could show up in what we call dizzy. It's all your body connected with you. So thank you, body, for all the ways in which you connect with me. And just for today, I promise to do my best in my unique way of being present with you, of not judging you, and of talking to you too. Thank you, buddy. Simple and really effective. So starting this connection series, just like to invite you to the simplicity of the small ways in which you can step, half step, mini step by step, connect to you. Because it's a subtlety, it's a kindness, it is a gentle approach to you connecting with the essence of your being, to you connecting with your body, and to you giving your mind and your spirit a little bit of a break so that you can co-create together. Yeah. Connecting. Part 1. Let me know how it goes. Looking forward to seeing you on our Zoom in a couple of days, in a few days. Bye-bye.